geography tells us. The Byzantines are forced back here not through the divine protection of Saint John, but through the interference of Mary, after Barbados had prayed to God for the protection of his freshly converted flock. It is almost as if the Byzantines were defeated by their own spiritual weapon, as the model of God always had a strong cult in Constantinople. Besides, the role of the Lombard kingdom and king has also been completely omitted. It was Benevento, and Benevento alone, which had resisted the Byzantine siege. The use of the title of princeps for Romuald also seems to point out that the hagiographer wanted to place the use of the title further back in time than its actual use. In short, the main change in emphasis between both sources is that Paul tried to depict it as a collective effort of the entire kingdom, whereas the hagiography tried to point out the leading role of Benevento in an evolved political landscape where the city tried to propagate itself as the leading center of Lombardness, a center that was protected by the model of God herself. Now, I will move back to the late 9th century events, when Byzantium conquered Benevento in 891 or 2, when the prince of the city was the young son of Io called Ursus or Orso. The most contemporary sources do not shed much light on this event. Ergenbert only briefly mentions it during one of the later chapters of his history, when he was describing Guy III of Spoletus's endeavors to become emperor. It is possible that Ergenbert intended to cover these events more extensively later in his history, since the extant version of this text remained unfinished, but that is something we cannot know. Another small chronicle of the years 892 until 897, edited in the NGH as the Continuatio Codicis Vaticani, only covers the aftermath of the Byzantine conquest, the cruel treatment of the Lombard citizens, and the flight of the Greek turba or mob when they heard that the Spoletus came to besiege them. It is only in the later Chronicon Salernitanum that more extensive treatment of the loss of Benevento and its reconquest can be found. The text depicts the siege itself still rather briefly. The surrender of the city was represented as a wise decision in the eyes of the chronicler, after the Beneventans had resisted the Greeks honorably. There is no endogenous explanation for the defeat, as there was nothing that the chronicler criticized about the Lombards' behavior. The only criticism was reserved for the Byzantines, who were also reported to have failed to capture Salerno through the siege. The siege was responded in kind by the Beneventans, who allegedly secretly had sent a letter to the Prince of Salerno, Guaimar, to come and liberate the city with the help of his brother-in-law Gius Perleto, on the ground of the shared Lombard blood of the Beneventans and Salernitans. Here, the Salernitan background of the chronicler comes to the fore, as in the more contemporary Continuatio Codicis Vaticani, the prince is depicted unfavorably as cruel and unstable. And the narrative ends the sequence of events with the Lombard reconquest of the city, which will be the last example of this paper. The decisive moment that sealed the fate of the Byzantines in Benevento was depicted by the Salernitan chronicler through a speech act. Here we see an attempt of the Byzantine leader Gregory to request the aid of the Beneventans for help against the Salernitans and Spoletus. He gathered the most prominent men of Benevento and addressed them as follows: act courageously and reduce the enemy in every way, because, as we have recognized in your deeds, your forefathers even inflicted destruction everywhere upon the Constantinopolitan emperor. So significantly, the enemy commander recognizes the past Roman achievements himself, deeds which he collected from the Lombard gesta and told of their ancestors' martial accomplishments, an ability that he wanted them to use against the counterparts of Salerno,